Greetings, it is Max So Diddly here, and today I am here with another Java tutorial to help you get an A in your coursework or exam. And today we're here with Validating the Password Part 5. And today we're going to be checking for repeating characters. And what I mean is there a sequence of characters? And what that could be is, hey, you've got SSSSSSSS in your password. We don't want that, we don't think it's secure, that's not allowed. That's the type of thing we're going for. If you want to look for an ascending or descending sequence, click the eye up in the corner. That's a tutorial looking at sequences of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. But this is for repeating characters, as opposed to a sequence of ascending or descending characters. So let's get right into it. So here in our main method we've got string, password, and a bunch of S's because it's a snake. Then we've got system.out.println repeating characters password 8. This is us calling our method. It will make more sense at the end of the tutorial. Let's go to our actual method. So we got a public static boolean, it's repeating characters, string password is parameter 1, and int max repeat is parameter 2. So what's going on here? String password. No prizes if you can guess what that is. It's the password we want to validate, and int max repeat, that's how many repeats or how many instances of a character in a row can we have. For instance, maybe we allow for 5 S's in a row, anything greater than that is invalid. Something like that. The first thing you want to do is you want to make a character variable called last character, and int repeat count equals 0. This will make more sense when we get into the actual juice of the code, but make sure you have these variables ready to use. Next, we have a chunky for loop, but don't worry, we're going to go through this, you can type it down, and this will make perfect sense, and you'll know it's like the back of your hand, so don't worry. We're going to do for int I equals 1. I less than password.length and I++. Now, if you were paying attention, you might be thinking, Max, why are we starting on 1? Why aren't we starting on 0? Why are we neglecting the first character of this string? And that's a good question, and it proves that you're actually paying attention and not just mindlessly waiting for all the code to appear on the screen so you can type it all out and not watch the tutorial. Yes, I know who you are, I'm calling you out on it. But for the rest of you who actually pay attention, thank you. And to those who don't, I don't care. I get the money when you click the video. I couldn't care less of how much you watch, don't worry. But basically, when we're checking for sequences, unless you're really interesting and unique, I'm going to say, a sequence usually is more than one character, and there's no point checking the first element of an array or the first character of a word when we're checking for a sequence, because you can't actually have one. Don't get me wrong, the second character could be the same and then you have that repeating character sequence, but there's no point checking the first character of the string. And if you do want to check for a sequence of 1, well, guess what? You're in luck. Click the eye up in the corner, and we have a tutorial for checking if a word or character is in your password or not. It's a slightly different way of saying, hey, have you got a sequence of 1 of something in your password? So if you want to do that, click the eye up in the corner. If not, stay on this tutorial, and then go and watch it, so I get more money. I meant views, because I can help more people. Definitely not the money part. And that's why I is equal to 1. And don't worry, we are going to actually still check the first character, because our last character is going to be equal to password.char at I-1, which basically means, let's say, in our little function here, we are currently checking the second S of the password. Well, last character will also take an S, because S is also the first character of a password. If that makes any sense. So we're just checking the last character. And if the last character is equal to the current character, we're going to increase our repeat count by 1. Because if they're the same, that means the sequence is continuing to grow. And so we need to take count of how big it's going to get. If it's not equal to it, we can set the repeat count to 0 because the characters don't match and therefore any potential sequence of repeating characters has been broken. After that, we're going to do if repeat count equals max repeat, return false. This means, hey, if the sequence gets to the size that we deem too big for a password, we can return false because it's invalid. No point checking the rest of the password because it's already invalid, you can't redeem it. So yeah, and we basically do that for the whole password. And if you make it through that whole for loop without returning false, then you are rewarded with a valid password, which we represent with a return true. And that's it for this little method, so we're going to actually validate it. Firstly, we're going to just type in password, and we're going to allow for, I don't know, maximum of 3 repeated characters, sequence thingy majiggo. Let's hit play. And it's true. Why? Well, there are 2 S's in password, but it's not greater than 3, so it's allowed. Let's type in 2. And it's still true. Why? Because the maximum sequence count we can have is 2. And 2 is equal to 2 because there are 2 S's in password. But what if we put a 1? It returns a false because 2 S's is greater than 1. But let's put it back up to a reasonable amount. Let's put 5. And then we just put a few more S's in here. So we've got 5 S's there. Let's make it 6. That's false because 6 is greater than 5. If we were to put in 5, it's true because 5 is equal to 5. If we put in 4 S's, it's still true because 4 is less than 5. And that's it for this tutorial. Be sure to leave a like in the comments if you enjoyed. Be sure to subscribe if you want to see more tutorials regarding password validation or other Java or C# or Visual Basic topics. And thanks for being a great audience. I'll see you next time.